This is the view from our hotel in Nuweiba on the Egyptian coast, on the Sinai. We arrived yesterday, 29th of April 1999. We traveled all day from Gatwick, 5 hours on the plane, 2 hours to get there, to get here. And this is the view from our hotel. We haven't explored anything. We just arrived. The sea is behind those palm trees. We're staying here 4 days. Today is a day off. Tomorrow we're going to St. Catherine's. Sunday is a day off, and Monday we go to Jordan. We are going to cross the sea here with a catamaran to get to Aqaba and then taken to Petra. This is a view from the top of the hotel we're staying at. This is the Red Sea, and this is the Sinai. I believe this is Jordan. I have to check. This is the town of Nuweiba. As you can see, it's really inundated. And there is a harbor. There's a ship which just burst there. The sea is beautiful.
That's our room somewhere over there, probably that one. The hotel is split into accommodation blocks. Around the pools and sort of restaurants. Last night there was a very loud group on there, we now know, but we couldn't see where it was last night. Another area of the hotel seems to be like little mini villas. Here we're quite close to the water's edge here. Very clear water.
Stay here this afternoon, relaxing here. We go and have a swim. 10:30, that's what people sometimes swim too early. We go in the afternoon when sun is. This is Egypt. This is the mainland of Egypt. This is the Red Sea here, and this is the Sinai. We landed yesterday to the airport of Sharm el-Sheikh, just here at the bottom of the Sinai. Then we drove all the way to Nuweiba here. Just opposite us is Saudi Arabia, and then Jordan. In the middle here, you've got the Monastery of St. Catherine, Santa Catarina, and then on Monday, we just get a boat to take us to Aqaba, and from Aqaba in Jordan, take us to Petra. Yesterday, which was our Thursday here, we didn't do very much, we were very tired. We stayed around the hotel and we went on the beach, really, most of the day. And today, it's 6:15 in the morning, and we're just getting ready to go to the St. Catherine's Monastery, just down here, from here. We must have about an hour to arrive. St. Catherine Monastery is here, and we are here, in the Gulf of Aqaba. More later. This view is on our way to St. Catherine. We're just stopping here to admire the view.
The Valley of the Gazelles. No gazelles anymore nowadays.
Having two bases, one in south and one in north of Sinai, were meant to make sure that all of the terms are going thoroughly. And besides having the two bases, they would be having some checkpoints along the different parts of the roads of Sinai, and we get to see one of them coming in just a few seconds on the left side of the road. MFO is financed equally by because the rock formation here looks very different. It's softer stone of limestone, and we would be having a lot of wind erosion along with the very fine soft sand. According to the peace treaty, Sinai is divided into three zones. The first zone, which is closer to the borders with Israel, in which there are no military Egyptian posts, but we would be having only what we call the MFO checkpoint, which is coming right now to the left side of the road. The central part of Sinai would be having both MFO checkpoints plus Egyptian military posts, and then the third zone, which is closer to the Gulf of Suez and the rest of Egypt, would be having no more MFO checkpoints and would be having more of Egyptian military posts around different parts of it. They pray when they remember, they fast when it's possible, so it gets like that. However, they have their own tradition and culture in which they follow more strict than following the religion of Islam. They believe that some stars are haunted, for example, with spirits of good shapes. So when those stars in the sky, they start new things, like they start a new business, trading, or they would be starting a marriage, or they start traveling, believing that this spirit of the sheikh would guide their whatever they do. 6 years than his younger brother. Sometimes the older brother had never been to school, and the younger brother went all the way through until he is in university. And most of them, when they join university, they would be going to the faculty of Suez, the closest university. So it's like very changing even within the same family. We have a flock of goats and sheep to the right side, with the woman looking after her goats, and another one. So you see, and their settlement is just to the left side where the cars are. So they just go beyond, looking for pasture, and then the women would be gathering around the circle, doing their talking, and most of them would be having spindles or sometimes they would be having the material cloth for their galabias. Photos or videos inside. Camels, donkeys. See, camels change their minds very quickly, so it might take a step, the opposite direction. You have to be very careful. Anyway, so please do not take any photos inside the narthex, that's the icon gallery, or inside the church or the library for those who are going to see the library. If you wish to take a photo of a monk, you ask for his permission first. Some of them, it's okay. Some of them, they don't like the photos to be taken, so you just ask him. But of course, if he's inside the church, like in the site here, this is according to tradition, the plain of comfort, or Wadi al-Raha, where the children of Israel had camped for almost a year while Moses was climbing up the mountain, up and down to receive the tablets of law. As the very first touristic village, so you see they are very restricted about the buildings, using the granite stones and no high buildings.
This is St. Catherine Village. This is a hotel which is built with a few shops next to the monastery.
So this is the first site you have in the distance of the monastery. It's about 10 minutes walk.
When the monastery was erected, the monks of this area had developed their own garden, which we get to see it starting from here, giving the impression of a little oasis in the middle of the mountainous area of the granite of this part of Sinai. We get to see different kinds of trees. Most of them would be very suitable, or all of them, for this kind of weather and this kind of land. It's very hard to have, plants growing in the arid granite rocks, so they had developed their own system. They had brought silt from the nearby oasis of Firan, 60 kilometers north, and then they had developed their own irrigation system. Within the monastery, there are 10 sources of water, well, now 9, 6 wells and 4 springs of water, and so they would be having more than enough to water their garden. They would be growing the cedar trees, the long ones here, the kinds of acacia, in which are more into the garden, and the most famous tree here would be the olive tree, sometimes short and sometimes a little bit taller, for it has very deep roots, so it goes for underground water easily. Besides that, they would be growing the different fruits, apricots, oranges, mandarins, apples, and around the different seasons to pick these fruits. It gets to be part of the income coming to the monastery as they sell it to them. The monastery of St. Catherine had been established. However, even earlier, the year 330, St. Helena, mother of Constantine, had given her orders to build a fortified tower to be a refuge for the hermits of that area, as well as to build the chapel where the tree of the burning bush was. Before we go on to see the monastery, and instead of just wasting time to come and see it back here, in this chapel we have the ossuary, or the skull house. Having a graveyard for the monks would be very hard in this granite stone, so just behind this chapel they have enough burial place for about 5 or 6 burials. Later on, they would reopen the grave, clean it away, and it would be ready for another burial. If we are talking of a monastery which is as early as the 6th century until the 20th century, with monks and hermits, now we have 23 of them, but in earlier times, sometimes the area here was busy with hundreds, 400 or 500 of monks and hermits living nearby. So we have a huge pile for the skulls, a huge pile for the bones, and we have some of the relics of the archbishops of the monastery put in cylindrical shape. One of them would be a complete skeleton in a vestment and a cross. This would be of a monk named Stephanos, who dates back as early as the 6th century. He was one of the guards of the monastery. He was found frozen on top of Mount Sinai one day, so he was brought down, and he is now the guardian of the relics of going through, we get to feel the thickness of the wall, and also we get to see two glass windows having some of the tools used by very early monks, like flasks, like things in which they prepare their bread and so on. And also within the entrance we get to see another backdrop of the monk. This keep coming to the right side.
Please.
This is what not invaders, but they used to protect the pilgrims as well as to protect the monks of the monastery of St. Catherine. And just here we have one of the two glass windows with some tools.
How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Actually, I didn't come to the office. So just here we have, according to tradition, the tree of the burning bush. It's a kind of a bramble tree, does not grow anywhere else in Sinai or in Egypt, even though they try to grow it, but it grows in different parts of the world. It does not give any more fruit, but it's still green. We are talking as early as Moses. Okay, so the chapel of the burning bush was just erected where the tree was, and the altar of the chapel was upon the roots of the tree. So St. Helena had just sort of bent the tree so that the tree would grow outside the chapel, and the altar is just over here, the rounded shape of the chapel of the burning bush. We would see that later on. You know the episode when Moses was found as a baby in the basket? Okay, next episode. One day he was walking around and he finds two people fighting. Makes it short. tells the story. And one of them was a Jew, the other was Egyptian. Moses, as according to all of the documents, he just pushed the Egyptian aside, he died. So he buried him, told nobody about this. A few days later, he finds two people fighting. Both of them were Jews, and one of them was the troublemaker who was fighting a couple of days. So he tells him, Moses, are you going to kill me like you killed a man earlier? Moses gets scared, and he escapes to the desert of Sinai, not the Exodus, but the first time for him to come to Sinai. He came to this area, Moses, what we will see in just a minute, where he had found the shepherds trying to water their sheep. Some younger women could not water their sheep because all of the men were crowded, as well as once the men finished watering their sheep, they blocked the well with a huge block of stone, which was very usual, so that nothing falls into it. So he offers his help. They go to their father. They were the daughters of Jethro, the priest of Midian. And he told one of them to go back and bring this man to thank him himself. He offers that he lives with them. He was married to the younger daughter Zipporah, until the flames of the burning bush God revealed himself to Moses, ordering him to go back to the mainland of Egypt and having the second time coming to Sinai, or what is known for us as the Exodus, the map. It's not of Egypt, it's basically of Sinai map. So roughly, because we are not sure. Biblical scholars now they are divided to two groups, mainly about the route of the Exodus. They are not sure about which route, but they are thought about the starting point from one of the delta villages around here, and either they had crossed, the Red Sea, either through the northern road here, which is through what we call the Bitter Lakes. But Moses, having the miracle of splitting the sea to two halves, does not really need shallow waters. Anyway, if this theory is right, so through here, all the way to the oasis of Faran, south to the monastery of St. Catherine, which is right here, and then the wilderness where they were lost for 40 years around here before they reached the promised land. The second theory, which makes more sense, is they had crossed from a place called Hammam Faraon, which means Pharaoh's path, in which they believe that this area is now haunted with the spirit of a cursed Pharaoh. It's not very wide, it's narrow. The Gulf of Aqaba and Suez, they are not very wide anyway. I mean, roughly they are about 27 kilometers, more or less. Anyway, so they crossed from here, and they had taken this road to the oasis of Faran, to the monastery, to the area of the monastery here, the wilderness, and then the promised land. From the starting point until they reached the plain of comfort, the area here, it took them about 3 months, camping here for a year, lost for 40 years before they reached that. Moses, for losing his temper, according to Freud, he was a very quick-tempered person. So losing his temper when he saw them sacring the golden calf, he was very angry, breaking the tablets of law. So he saw the promised land, but he never went. Present or a gift from the Tsars of Russia. And besides that, it has one wooden bell which was used as early as the 6th century. Every day when it's time to close up the monastery, they would bring up the wooden bell, and only on holidays or festival days they would be ringing the metallic ones, where the echo could be heard from the neighboring area of St. Catherine. Just behind the bell tower, we have the white tower. This is the minaret of the mosque, and the monastery of St. Catherine gets to be the only monastery with a mosque within, and we have different stories why should there be a mosque. The first story says that according to tradition, since Prophet Muhammad had visited the site, so one of the caliphs, his name was Al-Hakim, 11th century, wanted to commemorate the visit of Prophet Muhammad. So he gave his orders to build the mosque tree, and they still provide their means if they wish. When Sultan Selim I came to the throne, 1517, a delegation of those Bedouin tribe went all the way to him, said that they wish to convert to Islam, as well as they wish to leave the service of the monastery. Sultan Selim I said, converting to Islam, this I welcome, but leaving the service of the monastery, this I do not accept. For kings referring to himself, do not break other kings' orders referring to Justinian. So until nowadays, they are the servants of the monastery.
This is the original Moses well.
This is now the restricted area.
Sorry. Fresh elbow.
is finishing our guided visit to St. Catherine's. We've got now about an hour to just wander around, go to buy a book, and just wander around, generally speaking. We are just at the top of the monastery, with on the right the path to climb past the palaces.
What's up? What's here?
We're getting out. It's a shame. We're getting out.
Oh, where's the bookshops then?
Legend is saying that where you see these white little sort of chapels, it's where when Moses was in the mountain, it's where the tribes set up this adoration of the golden cow.
They will ring the bell every morning. And like starting from 20 to 12, they start closing the church. So they close the church and then you can be in the outside. It's very hectic. نفس اللخبطه اللي معانا ريح وادي الرحمن الناس بيأجلوا كل شويه منزلين وقت طلع هنا فعلا
Okay, so we have about 15 minutes.
I tried the tourism at the helmet hotel. I will put it out for you if we're going out today or tomorrow. If not, then try.
And are there many people going on the whole day?
rich, fertile land. White, the symbol of peace, and blood would be the symbol of the blood who sacrificed their lives to free the land. شمال.
عارف كله فاكر النويبع دي المدينة اللي ما فيهاش بقى فاكرها شرم الشيخ.
Where all the men are crowded. This is the bakery for bread. There's no Chinese food in Nueva. With the Bedouin cook, so you know, very flexible the idea. Just next to the Chinese food restaurant, there is a small restaurant called the Bedouin. It's very good food. It's this small like a hut. It's very nice food because the owner is my friend. But he has good food. But no scenery, no beach. Tarabim tribe. No more traveling, so they are erecting houses already. During the Israeli occupation, there was a very famous farm here in Nuweiba producing fruit, especially watermelon, peaches, and pears. And after the wars, it's coming right now to the left. I mean, there's nothing now, farm. So with all the wars, so nothing was produced, and now with the peace, so it's coming back to be producing again watermelons and peaches. Please, before leaving the coach, make sure that you don't leave anything behind. So check the area around the seat, above, under, before leaving the coach.
So this is Nuweiba, Saturday evening.
The 1st of May,
Very-
1999,
Very calm.
and very hot.
Oh, warm, not very hot.
We just got out of the fish restaurant, which is just around the corner, and we're going to go back to our room. This is the hotel.
Well, this is actually the ferry I'm focusing on, but the camera doesn't want to focus, so never mind. And there's the hotel over there. We'll have a look in a moment. This is the nightlife, or at least the night lights in the Hilton Coral. There was a guy playing guitar just now, but he seems to have taken a break. Ah, there he is.
Ah, that's not the guy playing the guitar.
Might be.
It's about 1 o'clock, and we are going in about 45 minutes to the harbour, which is 5 minutes drive in the bus, to get a catamaran to Aqaba. And from Aqaba, we've got 2 hours on the coach to Petra, at last. So this is the final view from our hotel. You can see the mountains over there, which are Saudi Arabia. And this is the Gulf of Aqaba, the Red Sea.
There's no film of yesterday because we didn't really do very much.
the Mamluk is the 14th century AD. So that's the measurement of the fort, right there. And the great-grandfather of King Hussein, he lived here for a while after he came back from Hijaz. The Romans built the 2nd century AD, and during that time, Aqaba was called as Imrana. Another Islamic city was built next to the Roman one, and Aqaba during that time was called as Ela. Unfortunately, so many buildings were built along the beach, including hotels and so on, and that's why it was a little bit difficult to excavate the site. As the king, he married 4 times, and his first wife, she was Egyptian Saudi. The second one, she was British. The first 2 wives, they were divorced. The third one, she was a Palestinian, died in the year 1977, and she was called Queen Alia. And the fourth one is American, half Syrian. She was born in Boston, and the king got married to the fourth one in the year 17 about. They do come from different parts of Jordan because they work here in Aqaba port. So because of the sea and the Saudi border, which is down to the south, the city is expanding and growing to the north towards Wadi Araba. So Wadi Araba, we are going to see the game tomorrow when I take you to the monastery overlooking Petra. And it is the flat ground which runs from Aqaba Gulf to the south of the Dead Sea, and it is about 150 kilometers of Wadi Araba, so it is called as the Valley of Peace. And the river flies over Aqaba Gulf. We could see Jabal Harun. It is that one there to the left, but usually from here we can see the white building which is right at the top, and we'll see it tomorrow from the hotel, just after we leave the hotel. Either this one could be one of the other 2. Again, you can see Petra from a different angle. Straight ahead. The town, 90% of the people are probably depend on tourism. So please, when we get there to the hotel, just try to take all what you have inside the bus, and then you come inside, and you will find your suitcases in the lobby. All right? Well, that's
from our hotel room. You can't see very much, but I believe Petra is just below these mountains.
Built by the Mamluks about the 14th century AD. So inside there's a shrine, but nobody can tell if it's Anstun or somebody else. And that's the highest point in Petra. It is 1,336 meters.
We're just about to go into the Sikh, into Petra.
By the way, some people of you they ask me about designing shopping and so on. This is where you can.
Come and see. You make it, Kafir. This is on our way to the Sikh. The horses we can play.
So there are 4 of them, and later on we are going to see another one on the opposite side of the sea. So those were Nabatean tombs, okay? And they are called in Arabic the Sahreeds, which means the water reservoirs. So the Bedouins, they call them by this name because they are located very close to the water channel. Can you see it over there? And because of that, we call this the outside the sea. And this one there is called as obelisk tomb. The name was derived from those 4 obelisks right at the top of the second floor. They were carved out of the solid rock, and the second floor was used as a tomb. Between the 2 centralized obelisks, there's a figure there, and that one is quite similar to the one that we will see right at the middle of the treasury. And because that one represents Isis, the Egyptian goddess, then they thought that that one also represents Isis, but in fact the one there represents the person who was buried on the second floor. Those 4 obelisks, okay, in my belief and what I think they do, they were carved to commemorate the 4 people from Syria, from Bosnia. Anyway, before we enter the Sikh, which is down there, I just want to point out some important things. First thing is the tunnel. Can you see it? So the tunnel was one of the first things that the Nabateans carved before they did anything else. It was carved out of the solid rock, and the length of the tunnel is 85 meters. It was carved for the water. In that case, water was diverted through the tunnel. Because if they hadn't carved the tunnel, then the water comes down for the sea.
So this is the real entrance into the Sikh, the beginning of the route through.
From the town of Wadi Musa all the way through, but it was washed away. And this part or this branch of the paved road was uncovered just 2 summers ago. And there are 2 levels here. This is the upper level, the Roman one, and the Nabateans one is about 2 meters low. Children, and they used to worship one per day. And after they moved from there, they reduced the numbers into 11, 10, 9, 4, and finally 2. Main god Bushra, as I said before, was the main god of the god of the Ishtar, and he was represented by both stones or large freestanding Egyptian obelisk, and he was a similitude. You see it? This is the chart track. It's about
Excuse me, I know you're not hard.
that they were very wealthy people. The sort of uniform that he's wearing, it is not typical Nabateans. Looks Parthians from Persia, more than Nabateans, and it is called toga. And this is what they called there in the Parthians' time. And this is Do you mind if you come with me over there? Okay. So the site that we will see tomorrow, which is called as the agricultural town of Beda, that one is dated to pre-pottery Neolithic, 7,200 BC. In that case, it is as old as Jericho, as old as Damascus, etc., because Damascus is considered as the oldest town in the world because it was inhabited since the Neolithic age up to now, and there was no gap of occupation. But here, there was a gap of occupation during the early Bronze Age. From the Old Testament, we got the name of the people who lived here first in Petra, and they were called as the Hurrites. And they were here between the 17th and the 14th centuries.
Shows the real floor level of this part of the valley down here. All of this is really rubble that needs to be removed one day. So the valley now takes a sharp left and goes on to the next section.
It's a Latin word, Greek Latin one, meaning, or it means any cutting either inside the cave or outside the cave with 3 benches. And also you can tell about it, not only because of the cupids out there, but from its size and the way that they carved it, that was used as a festival called the the street of facades begins. So there are some facades on the right side, also on the left side here. And that part of Petra, it is called as the necropolis of the site. In that case, Petra was used as a necropolis and necropolis. Most of the tombs they are dated to the 3rd century AD, and none of them is excavated. Some of them, they got the early Nabatean cross-step, the late ones. center now, and this is what the Bedouins used to live, right there. And even here, can you see the black Petra? So 15 years ago, the government built a new settlement for them, and they were moved to the north from here. Later on, we'll see some of their houses. And tomorrow, when we drive to Little Petra, we'll pass by their town. So this one is considered as the best house right at the central part of Petra. A bilingual inscription was found here almost 30 years ago, and that one talks about this house. So from that inscription, we get to know that this was the first part, which was used as a guest room. That's the bedroom right in the middle, which was converted into a tomb later on by the Romans. This was a sitting room, and the most important part of the house is that one there. Maybe it was the worship place, not the kitchen. All right? By the way, according to the Jordanian geologists, they call it as Cambrian sandstone of magmatic origin. This is all Cambrian, different layers, and there are three sorts of sandstone here. But the majority of Petra is Cambrian sandstone, which is older than the Cretaceous and the Ordovician, which you will see on Little Petra. So it's about between 680 to 800 million years old, the Cambrian sandstone. And you can see the different colors there. Those caused by four major minerals: iron oxide, copper oxide, manganese, and potash. Again, this is the right spot to see the rest of the royal tombs over there. So the first one up there, straight ahead of us, that's the one that they call the urn tomb, because of the pediment and the urn above the pediment. It was a Nabatean tomb. Some archaeologists, they think that the last one carved by the Nabateans, King Marcus II, because during his time, Petra was taken over by the Romans. Some people, archaeologists, they think that one was carved first as before they carved the treasury, and when they succeeded, they decided to carve the treasury, but nobody can prove it. It was just a suggestion of the Roman or the German art, as the Byzantine cathedral, which is underneath that white shelter. So that cathedral, it is a basilica, sorry. It was excavated 5 years ago by the American Center of Oriental Research in Amman and the Department of Antiquities. The one who discovered it, who was a friend of mine, he was American, and he just died 1 week before we started the work. And we buried him below the Bedouin village. So the first time in Petra, some mosaic were found, and they were found. Okay.
Layman.
AD, known by the name of the Roman Emperor Trajan. So before we start walking along the Colonnade Street, this is where it starts from, there, but was washed away. And this is just the Colonnade Street, not the Cardo Maximus. So if you've been to Ephesus, if you have been to Pompeii and so on, those are, and Jarash here in Jordan, they are called Cardo Maximus. Cardo in Greek means the heart or the center. And built by the Romans, by the way. And this one and the other one in Jarash, the one that we call in Jarash as Hadrian's Arch Gate, they were built at the same time in the year 129 AD to commemorate the visit of Hadrians to Petra and Jerash. Also, this is just a local Bedouin name. The bilingual inscription in platform in the 60s changed the whole story about the building. So from that inscription, we found that was dedicated for the main Nabatean god Dudarius or Dushara, and it is a Petra-style building. So it is, those Nabateans, they got three sorts of temples. Temples carved facing the sunset, the sunrise. Temples carved or built facing the wadis or the valleys or the water courses, like this one. And other temples carved right at the top facing the west, like the monastery, the one that we will see later on.
Ceci est la descente du monastère. Nous ne sommes pas montés jusqu'en haut. This is all the way down to the valley, and all these gorges and rocks and caves. It's fabulous, really fabulous. I'm now heading down See where that is. This is Brian walking along the Roman Avenue. Can't see it, but I can't see personally anything. I just shadows. Go down, don't worry. This is all various tombs. Royal tombs, soldier tombs, ordinary people tombs.
But when I have a free time, I work with them also.
That's fantastic. After the sun. This is more the Roman part of Petra. You could spend weeks and weeks here. What we've done is just, I would say, barely a third.
Sit on your lap.
That was where the building kept shooting these people around there. Because they said it's the Pharaoh's treasure. That's why this building is called a treasure. On the left side, all the activities of the town is that way, that right direction there. Mm-hmm.
At the moment we're here. This is the seat where we're about to go through again, through the rock canyon, out to the hotel, Forum Hotel. And what we've done today is through the main valley, along where the colonnade city was, and then we've cut off across here and went up in the direction of the other building that looks like the treasury, called the Monastery from the top, and then come back again, of course. And so we're here. Now we go back through the sink.
And this is our last shot of this beautiful monument, who started by being a tomb and became a temple. Look at this. Just look at that. Brilliant. Absolutely out of this world. Carved in the rock. There's nothing this side. It's the way to get to the various temples and to just out of the city of Petra. Okay. living Petra, and this is the view of the treasury from the beginning of the gorge. Look at this.
Nothing you can't afford.
Yeah, the people, it is
This is again living Petra. Look at all the colours. It's 5 o'clock at night. Look at the colour of the rock and all these various colours. Unique.
We're now approaching the end of the seat back onto the hotel side, which is this way. You can see it's widening now. We're returning back to the hotel.
Good morning. This is Tuesday, the 4th of May. This is our last day. Tomorrow we're traveling back to Egypt and onto the airport. So we're going to visit Little Petra this morning. This is the view from the top of our hotel, the Forum. You can see behind these rocks, that's where Petra is. And you can see all these dwellings they had 2,000 years ago. Carved in the rock. You can even see some over there. See on top of the mountain, not on top, but halfway in the mountain. This is a view from the foyer of our hotel, the Forum. We are waiting today, Wednesday the 4th of May. I know earlier I said Tuesday the 4th of May, but it's Wednesday. We're waiting to go to Little Petra and the 7,000 year BC village just outside Little Petra. You can see our guide here. His name is Ahmed. This is the hotel. I have to say this is our last day in Petra. Sadly. But we will come back. I see my husband there. I'm just going to move a little bit and just see in the foyer.
Can you see that watchtower on
The
the step?
watchtower, yeah.
Yeah. So usually the Crusader castles, they contain living quarters, stables, water systems, olive presses, the church, and the bells of the church. So one of them is my father, and he still remembers the bells of the church, and he said that it was completely destroyed by the earthquake of the year 1947.